It wasn't the throbbing bass that hit me first, not the obnoxious laser lights piercing the twilight, but the sheer, brazen audacity of it all. A dense swarm of SUVs and pickups scattered across the one place I held sacred, my own private field. I counted maybe 80 cars, each one a middle finger pointed directly at my porch. As if this suburban queen had decided my land was the perfect place for a 90-degree heat birthday bash for her little Brittany, complete with a bouncy castle and a live DJ, all without so much as a knock on my door. "Are you kidding me?" I muttered, a hot, prickling wave of disbelief washing over me, my blood pressure climbing with every pulsating beat that rattled my windowpane. I didn't even need to ask who it was. Only Sharon, the neighborhood's undisputed Karen-in-chief, had the ego and the complete lack of self-awareness to pull a stunt like this. A woman who treated every public space, every shared resource, as if it were a personalized amenity in her own little world. I could feel the tension tightening in my jaw, a knot of pure, unadulterated fury that had been building for months, years, with every passive-aggressive note about my lawn, every sneering comment about my old truck, every time she tried to advise me on my life choices. But this was a whole new level of entitlement. I slammed my door shut and marched across my yard, the familiar scent of wild mint and clover being completely overpowered by cheap party perfume and barbecue smoke. The sound of her daughter shrieking with laughter mingling with the cacophony of a badly mixed pop song. Sharon was holding court by a massive, rented food truck, her perfectly coiffed blonde hair reflecting the garish party lights, her face a mask of smug satisfaction. And when she saw me approaching, she didn't even have the decency to look surprised. "Well, look who it is," she said, her voice dripping with the sort of fake sweetness that was more acidic than a lemon, her perfectly manicured hand gesturing vaguely towards the sprawling chaos. "Having a good time, aren't we?" I asked, my voice dangerously low, my eyes sweeping over the rows of vehicles crushing the delicate wildflowers, the temporary fencing she'd put up, the little pink and white cupcake stand that looked so out of place against the backdrop of an untamed field. Her smile didn't falter, not for a second. "What's the big deal, Mark? It's just for one night." Brittany wanted a country-themed party, and this was the perfect spot. "Didn't you get my email?" An email? She'd sent me a spam filter-bound, half-thought-out email as a permission slip to use my land? I let out a sharp, incredulous laugh, my eyes narrowing, the chill night air doing nothing to cool the fire building in my chest. "There was no email, Sharon. And even if there was, you don't get to use my property as your personal parking lot. This is trespassing." She waved her hand dismissively, an impatient flick of the wrist. "Oh, come on. It's a field. It's not like you use it for anything. You've been meaning to sell it, right? I'm doing you a favor by making it look lived in." That's when the subtle twist hit me, the real reason for the anger that transcended the simple annoyance. She thought this was a useless, worthless plot of land, a patch of weeds ripe for development, but she didn't know the truth, the secret I had been nursing for over a year. "This isn't just a field, Sharon," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "This is a protected wetland habitat, part of a conservation project I've been working on for 2 years. Those aren't weeds you're driving on. They're native milkweed for monarch butterflies and rare wild orchids that are on the verge of extinction. I've spent thousands of dollars and countless hours trying to reestablish this ecosystem, and you've just driven your little party buses all over it." Her face finally fell, the smugness evaporating, replaced by a flicker of something that looked a lot like fear, but she quickly masked it with indignation. "That's just ridiculous. You're making this up to be difficult. I told everyone how this would be the perfect rustic setting. I've already paid the DJ and the food truck. You can't just ruin my daughter's birthday. What are you going to do? Call the police on a bunch of children?" Her voice was rising, drawing the attention of a few parents who were now eyeing me warily. I took a deep, deliberate breath, the smell of the diesel fumes from the generator filling my lungs, my anger replaced by a cold, calculating calm. "No," I said, looking her directly in the eyes. "I'm not calling the police. Not yet." I turned on my heel and walked away without another word, her voice screeching after me, demanding to know what I was doing. I ignored her, a ghost of a smile touching my lips as I walked the 100 yards back to my property line, to the old, heavy metal gate that marked the entrance to my land. The gate was usually propped open with a rock, a relic from the previous owners, but I had quietly had it repaired a few months back. A sense of foreboding I hadn't been able to shake driving my actions. I took the heavy chain from my pocket, wrapped it around the gate and the fence post, and snapped the massive padlock shut with a definitive click. A minute later, a brand new silver Mercedes tried to pull out, then another, then a third, each one turning back with a confused look on the driver's face, a ripple of unease starting to spread through the crowd. And then, the panic hit. I saw Sharon's husband run up to the gate, shaking it, yelling for me, his face a contorted mask of bewilderment. Finally, Sharon herself came storming over, her face a fiery red, her carefully applied makeup streaking with sweat and tears. "Open this gate right now. My guests need to leave. You can't do this," she shrieked, her voice no longer condescending, but desperate, a raw, unhinged plea. "This is illegal." I walked calmly to the fence line, my hands in my pockets. "Oh, it's not," I said, a sense of profound, tranquil satisfaction settling over me. "This is my private property, and what you've done is illegal trespassing, destruction of a protected habitat, and a noise violation. But don't worry, I've already called the authorities. They should be here any minute to help sort things out." I nodded towards the road, where I could see the flashing lights of a patrol car approaching slowly, a beacon of justice in the darkening night. She watched the patrol car, her bravado finally crumbling, her shoulders sagging, the weight of her actions settling on her with a satisfying finality. The look on her face wasn't anger anymore, but something far more potent, pure, unadulterated shock at the realization that for the first time in her life, her sense of entitlement had finally met its immovable, undeniable end. You see, some people believe that the rules don't apply to them, that their convenience trumps everyone else's existence. But the universe has a funny way of reminding us that karma, just like property lines, is something that must always, eventually, be respected.